Hello friends, welcome to the point. In today's session, we are discussing about a topic called unpaid care work. So what is unpaid care work? So unpaid care work is nothing but all the domestic work. It refers to all the domestic works like non-market works also. So we can say it as an unpaid activities for which people don't get money for their work. So those unpaid activities which are carried out in households also, that includes both direct care of persons such as children or elderly and indirect care such as cooking, cleaning or fetching water, and all these things comes under unpaid care work. So usually who does this unpaid care work? The housewives in the house, they do an unpaid care work, and in some houses this unpaid care work is also done by men, and this is an exceptional case, and those men are also come under unpaid care work. So you can see this picture, it depicts a lot of images like the women cooking, taking care of the children, taking care of patients and fetching water and so on. So as I said, unpaid work includes cooking, cleaning, hospital visits, like taking care of the patients in the house and so on, taking care of their children. So in one way or the other way, we can tell it is a full-time job where these women are unpaid for their work. So the explanation of this image is given here. So women do a lot of unpaid care work at home. So they cook and clean and they take care of the sick, and in case they have children, they are often the parent doing and the bulk of raising them. So this is on top of working full-time jobs in public sphere. So unpaid care work, it needs to be recognized as a billable labor. So this is a concern and this is very important point. Kindly note this. So what is the reason of talking about this unpaid care work, about the women and those people, those who are doing unpaid care work? So the reason for talking about this topic today is, so the forthcoming state assembly election in Tamil Nadu. So the state assembly election is going to be held in Tamil Nadu, and there the Makkal Needhi Mayyam. So this is a name of a party. In short, it is called as MNM. So this Makkal Needhi Mayyam, it has made an eye-catching election promise. So what is the promise is that it targeted at a large constituency of voters. They are women and who are all the full-time homemakers. So this party, this Makkal Needhi Mayyam, this particular political party, it has promised to recognize housework as a salaried profession. This promised to make all the household work, those who are working in the house for their unpaid works, this party said they are going to pay and make it as a salaried profession by paying homemakers, which is like a work at home kind of thing. So how this idea originated, how the demand for this unpaid care work has been originated, let's have a brief discussion about this. So the demand for wages for the household work or the housework, it arose in the context of struggle and consciousness that is rising, and it is associated with a second wave of the women's movement in North America and Europe. So along with other demands of social and political equality, the women campaigners, they made visible and also politicized women's everyday experience of housework and childcare in private realm of the household. So in doing this, they challenged the assumption that natural affinity. So natural affinity for housework, it was rooted in the essential nature of women who were performing a labor of love. So their work, their unpaid work of women, it is called as a labor of love. So they do the work with love. That is mentioned as labor of love. So for leading women's rights activists of 1960s and 1970s, so it was important to bust the myth that women's work at home was a personal service with no links to capitalist production. So, in a concrete sense, this meant linking the exploitation of the worker in factory of women's work at home. So, from the 9-month period of gestation in the womb, women's daily course of cooking, cleaning, washing, ironing clothes, preparing lunchbox, and so on, all this produced the labor power that was daily consumed in the shop floor or the assembly line, and they had to be reproduced afresh every day. So, by providing free services in the home, women made possible the survival of working class households at subsistence level wages. So, with this, the obvious benefits for industry and capital also. So, despite the links between the housewife and the factory worker, the unwaged status of the former accounted for crucial differences between them. So, housework, on the other hand, it had come to define the very nature of a woman. So, this disallowed women from seeing it as real work or as a social contract. So, more fundamental, we can say that the very demand for a wage, it was a repudiation of housework as an expression of women's nature. So, finally, what this unpaid work, what we call as labor of love or housewife, the works done by the housewife, it was finally called as the demand for a wage. It was a repudiation of housework. It is an expression of women's nature. Finally, it is said that. So, finally, they concluded that this work which are done by these housewives or the unpaid works which are done by them, it is the expression of women's nature. So, for this, there were many arguments. They tried to show up the importance of the value or the value for the unpaid housework. So, how they showed it? What were the arguments? Let's go through it. So, our society, it has silently decided that household chores, it belongs to the domain of women's responsibilities and activities. So, you can see here the picture of a woman who is working in an office and also taking care of her household works. So she has to receive her office call, house call. She have to go through her work. So keep checking on the emails she gets and postcards she gets. And she also has to take care of her children and the elders in her house. So this is the routine role of a working lady. So only for the office work she is getting paid for, and for all other extra activities which she is taking care of her children, taking care of the elders, cooking, etc., and so on. For those things she is not getting paid. So for that, the value of unpaid housework. What are the arguments? Let's see. So it has also determined. That means our society, it has also determined that this work shall carry no economic value. It has no economic value, but why should that be the case is the question here. So, why should the enormous household chores and farm labor done by the women, it should not be acknowledged in India's social economic policy framework? This is also another argument, and the government, it is perpetrating gender bias by not measuring women's role in making up the gross domestic product, which is GDP of our country. So India's census, it clubs those doing domestic chores together with beggars and students into the non-working population. And the census 2011, it estimated that the number of non-working population are at 728.9 million. And the authoritative definition says that these are the people who had not undertaken work of any nature in the reference time period. And of this people, of 728.9 million people, only 165.6 million persons main work was to discharge of household responsibilities, and they are mostly women. Mostly women in the sense 96.5% are women, and remaining are men. So there is a clear and present need to not only recognize this work but also to redistribute this work. So household duties, it should be shared among the family members. So a study in Uttarakhand, which was published in 2011 in Mountain Research and Development Journal. So the title of that study was Women's Contribution to Household, Food and Economic Security. A study in Garhwal, Himalayas, India. So this drives home to this point. So women in the mountainous region, they reported they did not do any work, and however their activities were analyzed, it was noticed that while the men in the region worked for 9 hours a day on an average, the women were toiling for 16 hours. So for this argument, there is another side of weave. So if we take the other side of the weave, there was a disagreement among women ideologues of second wave on what payment of wage should be actually be given for those women, those who are not paid for their work at household. So the sociologist named Anne Oakley, so he studied the history of housework in her path breaking books, which was published in 1970s, was among those who believed that wages for housework, so it would only imprison women further within the household, increase their social isolation and dissuade men from sharing housework. So others too agreed that the goal of women's movement must be to not ask for wages but to free women from daily work or the routine work of domestic chores and enable them to participate fully in all the spheres of their social life, including paid employment outside the household. So the debate around the monetary remuneration for housework, it remained unresolved within the women's movement, even as the tools to measure the value that women's unpaid work adds to national economies, which have grown more sophisticated. And however, the issue which is underlying here is which is disproportionate share of women's responsibility for work that sustains human life and it reproduces labor power and remains as a pressing as ever. So many people have struggled a lot for legislation. So in this contest, it is worth mentioning that an important campaign on the question of household labor, it has been taking place in India, and this is one of the ongoing struggle for national legislation. It is one of the ongoing struggle for national legislation for domestic workers. So these are predominantly women who performs women's work, but in others people's house also. So few women's, they perform the household work in other people's house also for the purpose of money. So however, the demand that the state recognize housework is significant and its radical core must not be missed, as the historical experience of the women's movement show us. So I would like to conclude this topic by saying that the question of how to measure and account the value of housework, it has been seriously addressed by women's domestic workers and their trade unions in Tamil Nadu and elsewhere. So, their demands include an hourly minimum wage and a weekly day off, an annual bonus, and the protection of their bodily autonomy in the workspace. So, this is an agenda that all parties and not just this MNM party could incorporate in their election manifestos. So, should they take seriously the mandate of recognizing and monetizing housework? So, if domestic workers emerge as a strong force that succeeds in asserting the dignity of housework, and it makes visible and valued form of labor. So, this can only be a good thing for all the women performing housework in the long run. And the legislation, it has also given a nod to recognizing the value of housework, and this is a one more biggest step in our country. So see you all in the next session with some other interesting topic. Thank you.